Hi there, I'm Dean Heskin, President and CEO of Swiss America Trading Corporation. Thank you for joining us today for this most recent installment of our podcast, Secret War on Cash. Chris, I'd like to welcome you as my guest today, but it would be more accurate at this point to say my co-host. So to that, I say hello to you.
Hi, how are you?
Doing well, thanks. Thanks for being with us yet again. You did get a promotion, so congratulations on that. Over the last few weeks since we launched this podcast, we've been discussing some of the different things going on financially, not just domestically, but abroad as well. And this being said, a few topics of growing concern that we've been talking about has been BRICS and the US dollar. And you've been very graciously kind of filling us in on your perspective on that. We've shared a few different articles that have been published. Well, a few days ago, Congressman Matt Gaetz out of Florida, he gave a pretty fiery press conference discussing the exact same points and problems we had discussed on our show. And I'd like to take a moment and listen to what he had to say. It's a couple-minute video for those of you tuning in. And I do, just a full disclaimer here, he does use a little bit of language in it, but I think it speaks to the severity of what's going on right now, the tensions that are brewing out there, and really kind of gives some perspective on just exactly the condition of our economy, the condition of our markets, et cetera. So let me real quick play that couple-minute video here first, and then let's talk about that.
Great.
The speaker did not just fail to remediate the breach of the agreement that he made with us in January. He accelerated the instances of breach. Like after I laid out the breach, he went and violated the 72-hour rule. After I laid out the breach, he violated the 100 million no amendment suspension rule. So he seems to be reverting to the very unfortunate muscle memory of Washington, D.C. that has put our nation atop a $33 trillion debt that has led to $2 trillion annual deficits in our near future, and the rapid global de-dollarization of the economy. When you look at the BRICS system, Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, they're moving away from the dollar. And just in August, they added 6 new countries, including G20 economies in the Western Hemisphere and Gulf monarchies. Moreover, you saw U.S. News say that the number one economic trend of 2023 is de-dollarization globally. This worries me. You all get all worked up that there's going to be some uncomfortable, chaotic moment that I'll feel pressure from conservatives or Democrats or whomever. I feel the judgment of history. I feel the weight of that. I worry that when the history books are written about this country going down, that my name is going to be on the board of directors here. And if this country's going down and if we're losing the dollar, I am going down fighting. And I don't care if that means fighting Republicans, Democrats, the Uniparty, the leadership, the PACs, the lobbyists. I've had it. I've been here 7 years. We don't have a budget. We haven't had one since the mid-90s. I am through with it. I apologize for using that word, but the only path forward here is to have single subject spending bills that can be reviewed, amended, considered, and I think that is the responsible way that our legislatures all over this country operate for good reason.
Well, there you go, Chris. I mean, he hit on all the points that, like I say, we've been talking about in this podcast since we began, and it's frightening. I mean, the math behind it is frightening. And if upon listening to that, Chris, I mean, what are your thoughts?
Well, my first thought is, like you said, he's absolutely right. And that's terrifying. And what a mess we have in Washington. And, everything from the debt, but really the de-dollarization that he's talking about there with BRICS and everything we've been talking about, talking about the country going down and the dollar going down. Well, I think people need to realize if the dollar goes down, or when, it sounds like in this case, that's obviously going to bring our country down. That's how we've been able to have such a great overall economy over the decades. So, we're losing that. He's right about the budgets. It's absolutely ridiculous. If any of us were operating a business or even our own homes the way that the government does, we would have been bankrupt years ago. And so, the U.S. has had a good run. We've been able to kick the can down the road, but at some point that's going to stop. And I think him at least coming out and being fiery and talking about this, hopefully gets enough news headlines and people realize that, this is right around the corner. We've been talking about it for a while. And so I think some people are a little complacent, but I think we're right there at the edge. And we could lose our reserve currency status literally any day now.
Yeah. Yeah. And, Chris, I don't know about you, but the one thing I will say upon listening to the congressman speak, trying to at least take something positive away from this, it was somewhat refreshing to me to see him so impassioned about this. I mean, he wasn't just flying off the handle. He wasn't just upset to be upset. He did a really good job of talking about exactly what the problems are, why he's upset, the budget, as you mentioned. I mean, this is a reality. And
right,
like we mentioned a few podcasts ago, it is something that in the course of your and my lifetime, and the majority of people alive their lifetime, we've become very accustomed to watching the debt grow, to watch budgets not be met and the ceiling get raised. And it's become a part of everyday life. But now with this abandonment of the dollar, and I think you phrased it properly a moment ago, it's had a good run, but now that you have all these nations and the number of nations growing as they are, turning a blind eye and a deaf ear to the dollar and doing so gleefully, that could be a problem.
Absolutely.
So, well, Chris, I thank you for that. And thank you for those of you tuning in. As always, if you'd like any additional information on some of the things that are going on in the economy, the financial markets, not least of which being gold and silver, or if you'd like a copy of our #1 report, The Secret War on Cash, feel free and contact us at our offices. Our toll-free number is 1-800-289-2646, 1-800-289-2646, or visit us online at www.swissamerica.com. Thank you for tuning in. If you like the podcast, please subscribe. You'll see it in the window there in your podcast, the various places you can do so. And we look forward to the next time we have an opportunity to talk and discuss more things such as this. Have a great day.